Hi, this is Scott Trout, CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. There are many life changes that can happen after divorce that make it difficult or impossible to uphold requirements of your divorce decree. The orders issued in a divorce are based on the facts presented at that time, but the circumstances used in issuing those orders can obviously change. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell.
Contact CordellCordell.com, 1065 East Hillsdale Boulevard, Suite 310, Foster City, California, 94404.
I'm pretty sure this, I think it works now. Okay?
Crank that, homie. Whoa. Sorry.
You're listening to The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
What's up? My name is Brad Nolan. Brian Moote in the studio.
What's happening, guys? We got a great show for you today. Patrick Moote hanging out in studio.
Yeah, that's not
right.
why it's going to be great.
No,
that is why.
I can tell he's got some good stories today. He said he was losing it earlier.
I'm ready. I'm fired up.
We're also going to talk about Kathleen Turner. I don't know. I guess when you hit a certain age, she says in her 60s, she's the I don't give an F 60s, and now she's just spilling all the beans on all these famous actors she hates. And then also, I have been feeling depressed and tired, and I put on Facebook to get some like natural remedies because I don't do well with medications.
Did you use the recommendations feature?
I did not. I just put it up as a status and got a lot of people's feedback. And I went and bought some stuff, and I might have, if I sound like I'm in a good mood, I am, because I may have overdosed on amino acids and vitamin B12. So, and tomorrow I bought something to kick off the morning show called Happy Pills.
You are like annoyingly peppy.
Man,
I think I like Grumpy Brian better.
I think it just hit me, man. I was
My favorite part about you is your depression.
Real bummer the last couple days. All right, Patrick, let's kick it off with You're Losing It. How are you slowly, mentally coming unraveled? How's that happening?
I don't know. It wasn't a very big it to begin with, so the fact that I could lose it is pretty impressive.
I don't know if it's that you don't have a lot to lose. You just kind of like do your own thing always.
I just have been off in space cadet land. Like I'm at space camp right now. I am not paying attention to anything. So here's what usually
it's great for a radio show.
Usually when people
one person's not listening to anybody in his own land.
If it sounds like I'm losing my point, that just assume that I'm completely lost.
Then we'll just jump in.
I'm floating in space.
Okay. So how are you losing it? What have you done lately?
Most people lose little things like their cars or like pencils or cell phones.
You said their cars is a little thing?
That's how I'm losing it. I lost my car. I led with the punchline. God, Jesus,
Wait,
I'm
you
falling
actually
apart.
lost your car?
I lost my car.
How is that even possible?
Okay, here's how it's possible.
I forgot where I parked in like a 5-deck parking structure, which is embarrassing when you are, especially when you're with somebody, because nobody respects that, even though it's happened to all of us.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird problems where you're like, really, bro? And I'm like, it's happened to you. For sure happened to you.
It's got to be around here somewhere. I went to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription, and it was not ready. So they gave me 30 minutes. And so you want to know what I did, which will tie back into some stuff we're going to bring up later? I decided I'd see if there's any Lime bikes around. Or Lime scooters.
Lime scooters.
So I pulled up the app, started looking around, found one, walked like 5 blocks up the street, got it, rode it back to the store, got my prescription, and then rode it home.
But you'd driven to the store.
Yeah, but I'd driven to the store. So the next morning I wake up and I'm walking around looking for my car.
Oh,
I'm just
wow.
like,
Wait,
I don't even know where. I don't even remember when I drove it last.
Let's back it up. So, to make the details clear.
No clue.
You drove to, Rite Aid or something,
Yes,
right?
I drove to Rite Aid.
You drove to Rite Aid with the car.
Mm-hmm.
You walk out.
Yep.
You're like, oh, I need to go get a scooter.
Yeah.
To drive home. You go get a scooter.
Yep.
You drive the scooter back to Rite Aid. Mm-hmm. You go get your
prescription.
You drive the scooter home.
Yep. So then
then the next day, you just have to hope that your car is still at Rite Aid.
It took me, I had to walk all the way back to Rite Aid before all of a sudden I was like, Rite Aid! Oh my God. I was walking back to Starbucks, which is right by Rite Aid, the next morning, and I was walking around. I did like 3 laps around my block, and I was like, dude, I don't remember where I left this car. And later, after I dropped off the car, I went and met you guys, and we went to the Meg. So it just sat there all night on a Friday night.
Oh, wow.
And that Rite Aid has 2 guys who, like, take their job, like,
very
super serious. Yes, they're not screwing around.
Hold on. There's nothing worse than the parking lot security guard who takes their job way too serious. There's nothing worse. They chalk your tires.
This guy chalked my tire right as I got out once. And I was like, really? I'm standing right here. That is some nerve, dog.
Why?
What are you doing?
That feels like somebody writing you a parking ticket as you're going through your change cup. And you're
Right.
like, whoa. They're like, you can't park here. And you're like, no, I'm just looking for change.
Yeah, give me a second.
Do we have a parking confessions part of today's show?
I got
at
a
all?
parking ticket today too. That's the other part of me losing
let's-
it. I completely forgot that it was street sweeping. Just left my car.
I have a good one.
Idiot.
I have. So let's finish yours real quick.
So I'm walking back up to Rite Aid or up to Starbucks, and I'm just like, oh my God, my car is so towed. It's so towed. There's no way
course it is.
stayed there all night Friday night. Boom, sitting there in the parking lot. Only one there.
Now the only
With
reason
a little letter, a printed letter, like, you're only allowed to park here for 1 hour. I was like, where were my boys out? They have, like, these parking attendants are so serious. They have, like, tasers.
Now the only
what are you
reason
going to tase? A car?
only reason I could see that flying is because in that same parking lot, granted, it depends on where you're parked. If you're right in front of Rite Aid, they probably assume you're not over at the Noodle House or is there like a sushi place there?
Yeah.
And
They got
And a
everything.
24-hour Denny's
Gower
as
Gulch,
well.
baby.
do they serve booze at Denny's?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think they do, but I think they serve
serve
booze at
booze
the
at
other
Rite Aid.
places. Yeah, so I
Cheapest
feel like
booze.
you could get away with that if you got towed by writing a letter to the management company who owns the parking, saying like, "Yo, what do you want me to do? Drive drunk home? I was hammered and I did the right thing, and you penalized me for
Yeah.
it."
And your homeboys in the parking lot are trying to just taking their jobs way too serious.
I one time screwed up parking so bad with a zip car that it was banned from Boston College.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty impressive. What happened was
That's awesome.
I was moving into the dorms at Boston College. I was a grad student and I was going to be an RA. And I was moving in before all the students do. And I didn't have a car because, Boston, you don't really need a car. They have trains all over the place. So I was using the zip car on campus to drive to my old apartment and just bring stuff back. And I kept parking on the fire lane on the side of the building. And
That's safe. I like that.
Yeah, so I
good
went
move.
up.
It's always
I was
empty.
unloading the car. I had the hazards on, so you'd know that I'm using it to unload. And this is summertime still, so I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal. The next morning, I walk out of the fire exit side of the building, or just the stairs, basically, not the fire exit, but the stairs. And I'm like, oh my God, someone parked the zip car. Oh my God, that's the car. I left it overnight.
With the four-ways on.
Yeah, which
Oh
means
my
I
God.
got in the car to try to move it to go up to training to be an RA, and it was dead.
Oh yeah, way dead.
So then by the time I call Zipcar and they think it's their fault. So then Zipcar is like, oh my God, we're so sorry the battery died. And I'm like, yeah, you should be. It's really problematic. They're like, we're going to try to send someone out there to do it. They can't get someone out there in time to jumpstart it. So then Boston College has it towed.
Oh, I was gonna say, so there's a fire.
So Boston College has it towed and impounded. And then Zipcar and Boston College got into a big argument about it, and Boston College just said, get the Zipcar off the campus. We don't want it here anymore. And I only found that out after someone was telling me the story about a month later about why there's no more Zipcar, and I was like, oh my God, I'm the guy who did that.
Way to go.
That's awesome. That's that's a notch in the belt, though, I think.
It's pretty
not
solid,
funny.
right? Now, granted, Zipcar and I haven't been friends since then.
Can I try and one up you with losing it story?
Oh, you have 1
Because I
minute.
got another one earlier today. Left my groceries at the bank.
For how long?
They're still there.
No, they're not.
I didn't go back and
No,
get
they're
them. I
not.
can't show my face. I walked around the whole house. I thought I left them outside. I walked down the street. I was like, where did I set them down?
You left your groceries at the bank,
At
and
the
they're
bank.
still at the bank.
I'm not getting them now. It's too embarrassing.
Well, I mean, did you have any, perishables in there and stuff?
I had a bottle of rosé, some turkey,
Oh, my... You gotta go
broccoli.
get it.
Yeah, broccoli.
What do you mean? You gotta-
Kombucha? That's no good.
What kind of self-respecting man leaves rosé at the bank?
This kind of self-respect. What kind of self-respecting man goes back to the bank 8 hours after they left their groceries?
I mean, that's a hell of a walk of shame. Excuse me, anybody, did you guys pick up a Ralph's bag? Is there a Ralph's bag in here? They're going to be like, security's going to be like, can you name the contents of the bag?
I left my groceries. You think I remember what I bought? I have no idea what was in there.
Be hilarious. They're going to treat it like one of those situations where at the gym you lock yourself out of your locker and they're like, can you name 5 items
Go screw yourself.
in this locker? Shut up, morons.
Pants, shirt, shoes.
All right, it's time for a fake commercial. Here we go. Lime Scooters.
So I am a Bird scooter fan. What's up, guys? It's Brian Moote from the Brian Moote with Brad Nolan Show. And Pat over here is
that's
trying
me.
to convince me that I got to go with Lime scooters.
Yeah, that's right. Do you want to know how good Lime scooters are, Brian?
Tell us.
I'll tell you. I went to the pharmacy with my car and then left it there because I found a Lime scooter and I wanted to ride it so bad. Left my car at the pharmacy.
Tell us why you're really mad at bird scooters, though, Pat.
I'll tell you why I'm mad at bird scooters, because they're little wimpy dinky bikes and I eat it on them every time I ride one.
Also, Pat wanted to be a bird's nest to make money charging the scooters, and they won't reply to his email. So out of spite, he has now become a Lime scooter fan.
Yeah, that's
right. Go get the app. Download the Lime Scooters app. Use the promo code PATISMAD.
Grrr!
That promo code doesn't work, but the Lime scooter thing is pretty cool because they
It is
also have
awesome.
headlights.
They have headlights. It's so much safer, and they go faster, so it's also more dangerous.
So go to Lime Scooters, use the promo code PATISMAD. Maybe if enough people do that, it'll convince Lime Scooters to sponsor the podcast version of the show.
We just did this one for free.
Yeah, that's right.
Just kind of showing them what kind of firepower we have. Go to the website, the app, download the app, and put in the code PATISMAD
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Bother them on Twitter.
Bother them on Twitter.
We're so good at this radio.
That was nailed it. Feel pretty good about that.
All right, Kathleen Turner coming up.
With Brad Nolan. Here we have Brian Moote
This better not get me in trouble with my girlfriend.
and Brad Nolan.
No, my wife wants to flip the swinger switch.
Just two boys without man buns.
All right, what's up? Was Catherine Turner?
Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner. I apologize,
Actress
ma'am.
Kathleen Turner.
Can we get some credits? Because I'm having trouble placing her.
She was big. She was a big movie star in the
80s, right?
80s.
Yeah.
She was in the movie Body Heat, Prizzy's Honor, Peggy Sue Got Married. She's co-starred with Michael Douglas numerous times. Also worked with Burt Reynolds. She sat down with Vulture.com and did an interview. And man, this is I wish. See, we get approached to do interviews a lot. And actually, I was going to throw this out to you. I got an offer potentially to have Tom Arnold do a
let's do
phone-in
that.
interview, and I think it'd be great because he's got that new show about the Trump tapes, and I'd love to talk to him.
Listen,
about that.
I hate phone interviews, but we can do that. I mean,
Yeah, I'd like to hear from Tom Arnold. I like this whole, just given where politics are at right now with the Manafort trial, the Mueller investigation, the Don Jr. Situation. I think it'd be interesting to hear about his investigation of the Trump tapes.
Question though,
Side note.
wait, hold on. Does Tom have any like Me Too thing? We need to look into the Me Too thing before we say. Yes
I
to
think
interviews.
he's kind of on the side of women.
Okay.
In that one. I know he's been very outspoken,
Okay,
which
cool.
also can be kind of a
okay.
sign that you got one coming your way. I remember James Franco wore a Time's Up pin one time, and 2 days later, Time's Up, Franco.
All right, cool.
So Kathleen Turner sat down with, let me get the name of the writer, David Marchese. And there's something cool about Hollywood elite when she's 64 years old and it just doesn't care. And she has had some really crazy stuff going on in her career. She had rheumatoid arthritis. She got diagnosed with that in her 30s.
Struggle is real.
Which really kind of ended her career as a quote-unquote leading lady. Because she just had some disabilities and she was drinking a ton to deal with the pain and taking steroids.
Drinking is for internal emotional pain, I thought.
Yeah.
Drinking for a lot of pain.
Is it for physical pain, too?
Well, I mean, the emotional pain for her was being flat out told by Hollywood elite that she was not a leading lady anymore. Like,
That's tough.
yeah, I mean, she, at one point in time, she says that Warren Beatty, Jack Nicholson, and one more, and Michael Douglas all flat out spoke openly about they had a bet to see which one of them was gonna land Kathleen Turner.
Ooh.
And they would flat out try to sabotage each other and treat her as if she was an object that they were all just trying to like accumulate.
That's weird.
I mean, that era though now we're seeing all those old guys.
Right,
Get,
yeah.
these stories are coming out about how awful they were and how much sexism was there.
Can I bet that Jack Nicholson didn't win?
She said none of them won. She seems like she was a real firecracker. I like Kathleen Turner. She said, and by the way, while I'm recapping some of the highlights of this interview, and go read it, it's really good. It's really interesting. Think of some stories of interactions you've had with Hollywood elite that have left you less than impressed.
I got you.
Brad, I think you said, quote,
got you.
every single interaction you've had. She said that Burt Reynolds, the first day she worked on a movie with him, made her cry immediately by insulting her appearance. And Burt Reynolds said he was not going to, quote unquote, co-star with a woman, is what he said to her. He said he was not going to be one and two. He said it was his movie. He was the lead, and she was just going to have to get in where she fit in, which I find amazing. She also said that Nicolas Cage, they were doing a movie, Peggy Sue got married, and Nicolas Cage just decided to start doing a weird voice for his character.
Weirder than his normal voice.
Yeah, weird. Like he came in, like Table Read, he does one voice, and he comes in like, hello. And she's like, what the hell is this? And Francis Ford Coppola was like, we're going with it. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
isn't that his
That's
uncle?
his nephew.
Yeah.
So, clearly he's not trying to rip his nephew. He gave him no direction, no notes.
I mean, that's what Nicolas Cage does, though. Like, he's notorious for, like, just coming in on the day, and it's just like, son of a...
Hello there.
Hello, I made an artistic decision overnight.
All right, here we go. Simple Jack, take one.
She also, I found this interesting, too, because she was on Friends a few times. I believe she played Chandler's mom on Friends. And she said that the cast was just insanely cliquey.
Whoa, shots fired.
They couldn't, like, they were kind of rude. You couldn't really, when you were working on the set, you couldn't really get a word in with them. You couldn't really have an interaction with them because they were just such a tight-knit group, which may be because that's how they rolled in that.
I mean, what season was that,
ensemble,
though, too? Like... If that's like season
Probably
9, they work together every day, 16 hours
Probably
a day.
mid-series.
It's like, of course they're gonna be like twins. They have like
but
their
you gotta
own
have.
language.
She said at one point in time, like a production assistant had to go find her a chair because she was like having trouble standing up because she's wearing heels and this awful dress and she's got rheumatoid arthritis, and none of the Friends cast would like make eye. They did the thing where they wouldn't make eye contact because they didn't want to give up their seat, like while they weren't shooting.
It's kind of funny. We should have done an episode about.
We've all done that. Maybe not, but I remember.
She sounds pretty sensitive for someone who's been in the industry that long.
Maybe,
like, I mean, the longer you're in, the more you realize like everybody's kind of a ding dong dickhead.
I was in.
Sorry.
I remember I tried to do this, but then my conscience and what was right got the best of me. But I was on the way to work in Boston when I worked at the State House. And I was on the train, and I was sleeping on the train. And all of a sudden, you could just feel, like, the energy of someone staring at me or something. And I opened my eyes, and it was like one of those it was a packed day, and it was just... I opened my eyes, and there's, like, a woman who's, like, 7.5 months pregnant. Like, just kind of sitting there, like, trying to hold on to the rail. And I was like... But I was like, just cracked my eyes open. I was like, you can just pretend you're sleeping. Like, you're a sleeping guy. You're not a jerk. And then I just was like, oh, dude, how would you like it if this was your pregnant wife? So then I got up and gave her the seat. But when I got up, I noticed 7 people sitting around way into their books. Or whatever that free newspaper is you get when you walk into a train station.
That's funny.
Where you don't even want to read it. The articles could be garbage. You just like you just want to do anything but not have to, stare at the wall.
Yeah, and then the lady sits down and takes her groceries out from under her shirt and is like, gotcha.
That would respect
Sucker.
that trickery.
Yeah, right.
All right, worst interaction with a celebrity, Brad, go.
All right, first one on the list has got to be Halsey. She was the absolute worst.
Yeah, you really don't like Halsey.
Yeah,
I've heard this before.
Yeah, about 10 months into her stardom, one song on the radio, we sit down for an interview and she goes, I go, well, talk to me about your origin story. Let's talk about that, so people can start to get to know you.
Know you in this radio market.
Right. And she goes, a year in and I'm still answering this question. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, a year is not a long time.
Yeah. And so I just went, well, the Stones still answer this question, actually. But just tell me something about you, right? She then goes on this tirade because she had pink hair at the time. She's like, I'm in these fancy label meetings, all these people in suits, and I got my pink hair, and I'm a boss. I go in there, I don't care, I'm just different like that. And I was like, I'm sure nobody's ever done that. Probably not even Pink.
Yeah.
And then I just stared at her, and then I looked at the camera, and I was like, thank you for watching this interview with Halsey. I'm Brad Nolan.
The most delightful pink-haired girl in the world.
Pat, you, bad interaction with a celebrity, go.
I didn't have it. It wasn't necessarily my bad interaction because everybody loves me, so I never have bad interactions with people. But I was once bartending, and Chris Klein came in, Ostriker from American Pie.
Yeah, totally.
And him and his girlfriend, I may have overserved them slightly, but they were hammered. And my buddy Dan came up, and we were all making jokes, and Dan made kind of a joke that was misinterpreted, and Chris Klein pushed his girlfriend back and was like, "Hey, man, you want a knuckle sandwich?"
I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, I know. He was going to serve him up a knuckle sandwich.
Didn't he get a DUI that night?
It might have been. I can't remember.
Wait, is there a statute of limitations on that? Admitting to over-serving? Hey, that's not your fault.
He was famous.
No
What was
when
I
to
supposed
say
do?
when.
Cut him off? No way.
Yes. It's just humans.
Give him a knuckle sandwich, dude.
Not just
I mean,
humans.
I
They're
could talk-
famous people. It's
I could
different.
talk for days about angry celebrities.
The Rock used to be really nice to me. He called me Shaggy.
The Rock was nice.
Yeah. He'd be
Dude,
like, "Hey,
my,
Shags."
my interaction with The Rock was great.
He's a
I love
really,
that guy.
really nice guy.
The only negative one I've had, it wasn't negative, it was disappointing. It was Kevin Connolly from Entourage.
I'm right here, man.
And Kevin Connolly caught me taking a selfie with him in the background at a restaurant, and I wrote, "Wish it was Turtle." And
Which is funny.
yeah,
That's
man.
funny.
It's funny.
And then he saw it, and then I saw him taking a selfie of himself, while I was editing the photo. I saw him. So he had seen what I was doing and was taking a selfie of himself, of me editing a selfie of me with him in the background. It's this very weird
It's
kind
Inception.
of
Very meta.
situation. And then he posted on his Instagram stories, not tagging me. Thanks a lot, Kev. And he wrote this guy's trying to get a picture of E. Well, I got you, buddy, and I'm going to take pictures of you all night. And then the rest of the night, he was trying to take pictures on me and of me, and then I'd catch him and take a picture of him taking a picture of me. So I felt like we had this really cool thing going all night, and he just he seemed so snatchy about it.
Yeah, you're a famous person.
You know what I love
that
about
should be
this?
a funny bit.
What I love about this whole
it
thing
could have been a
is that
thing.
You're just mad. So
I'm just mad he didn't tag me.
Yeah, you posted something on Twitter blasting him, wishing it was someone else, and then now you're mad just because he didn't play by the rules of the game that you created with inside your head.
You've got so many followers. Tag me, E.
Oh man, yeah, what
funny.
a jerk. That guy's out of control.
He's the worst.
I know.
Brian Moote is a stand-up comedian. Brad Nolan is a stand-up dad. The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
What's up? I'm Brad Nolan. We have a lot to get to still on the show.
We do.
Brian Moote is here. What's up?
What's going on? Yeah, we do. I want to talk about holistic depression remedies and energy, improving my brain function.
Like ginkgo biloba type stuff?
Ginkgo biloba.
I think you mispronounced it. It's Jinko.
Ginkgo. That sounds like a
Pants. Sounds like pants.
sounds like it sounds like a racial slur. to
Also
be honest.
sounds wrong.
Whoa. Shut up, Brad.
I mean, it sounds
Shut
like
up, Brad.
Ginkgo biloba sounds like a racial slur for like a Southern Italian.
Yeah, that's good.
Like some
Yeah,
sort
you
of
Jinkos over here slanging your southern pizza.
bilobas.
Your bologna pizza.
I wanted to ask you guys this question though before, because I want to save. I got a bunch of Facebook comments to get to because I do want to share some of these natural remedies for combating depression. It's not just weed though. I got a bunch of recommendations for that. First question: I don't even know how to frame it. I am terrible at reading emails and text messages. Like, I just am really bad at it. And it has nothing to do with physically not being able to read it. It is basically just whether it be autocorrect fails of mine or someone texting me and me just like looking at it for 2 seconds. I know what they just said. And then responding and them going like, that's not even close, dude. That wasn't even.
Yeah, I hate to admit this, but I sometimes do that with email. Recently did it where the first line of an email had some important information in it. But I'm kind of iffy on the first line. Mm-hmm. I kind of I roll to. I figure that they got fluff in the first line, and then the second line is going to be important. So sometimes I kind of skip through, and it turns out it's a meeting that we would have completely missed.
Whoa, yeah. That's see. Here's the thing. I've had a bad track record for never reading emails or never reading emails for sure. One, just put bullet point what I need to know. I don't need to have all the background information. Just, hey, Brian, before you gloss over this is what I need.
That's what we did in the Army. It's called bluff, bottom line up front. And the first line is everything you need to know, and then details.
Why isn't everything bottom line up front? I don't need to know exactly like all the back. I don't need to know why you made this decision. I don't need to know what you were thinking. It's gotten to the point where in the past, people know I don't read emails so bad that some people will bluff it up front. But then also, sometimes when I honestly have not gotten an email with some information in it, people have legitimately just assumed that I got it and didn't read it or ignored it. For example, before I left Atlanta on my last radio show, on The Burt Show, Q100, the radio station in Atlanta, had its best quarter of the fall quarter, and 2017 was like hands down the best year and the best like ratings season they've ever had by a mile. And so the program director, Louie, was like going to take everyone out to a fancy dinner at a fancy steak place, Davio's, right? Nice restaurant. I love Davio's in Atlanta. And I'm at a cornhole tournament in West Midtown. It's real redneck stuff, competing in cornhole. And I get a text message like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Playing cornhole." And
If you don't know what they're asking, never answer playing cornhole.
Right.
Just always
answer that.
Or sure, yeah.
So I call someone. I'm like, "What are you guys talking about? Where am I? Where are you?" And they're like, "We are all at Davio's." And I'm like, "What do you mean you're all at Davio's?" The entire radio station of on-air personalities, all at Davio's, celebrating this like epic ratings period. And I'm like, "I didn't get that email." And they're like, "Yeah, you did." I'm like, I would bet you $100. There's no way I didn't get this email. Plus, I find it strange that I was in a studio with you guys all for 5 hours.
Nobody
and no one
mentioned
mentioned a dinner. No one brought up like, "Hey, so dinner tonight, Davio?" How did that not even come up?
I mean, they just figured everyone read the email that was addressed to them with the subject heading dinner for everyone.
Well, I didn't.
So can I actually, because I was like...
I didn't get the email. They looked at the email, and I was not put on the email, and that ultimately is what started the downward spiral into ending.
Oh, shut up.
I did
So,
not. Nothing to do with it. Though now we look back, I've joked about it with some of my friends in Atlanta, and they're like, "Dude, were you that pissed off about that email?"
Can I point out something that I think might be a contributing factor to this?
Yes, please.
There is a little bit of a superstar mentality going on in the old Brian Moote brain these days. Because I will reference one thing. You're
what?
like, "Listen, if you want me to do something, just bullet point it, okay? I'm pretty busy. Just give me the bullet points.
That's
What
fair.
is?" So I will throw this into the
did
mix.
say that.
I will throw this into the mix as example. Exhibit A.
What?
The Orange County Marathon.
Oh,
We rolled in there with no clue what was going on because Fancy Pants over here was just going to get whatever we wanted. And then guess who got kicked out right before the end of the
I did. I got
half
picked. I
marathon?
didn't. Orange County Marathon. I rolled in. I was big
Completely
timing them.
unprepared.
I was like, "Listen, I'm not going to go down and get my bib
not gonna
early,
get a
sit in
bib.
traffic. That's ridiculous. We're just going to run this race." I ran the entire half marathon. I was like, I was so tired. I was putting everything on Instagram Live, and as I'm about to celebrate getting a medal, a guy's like, "Where's your bib?" and throws me out, and now I don't have a medal from running the OC marathon.
But just to look on the positive side of things for just a minute, you are going to run it again next year. They were not upset with you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that was pretty poorly organized on my end. Probably fell through the cracks.
Listen, Brian, I asked Brian about 100 times, like,
don't blame
"Hey, man,
yourself.
what are the specifics for this?" He's like, "We show up, we run, duh." It's like, all right, Jesus.
I
It's very
really have
aggressive.
become a diva now that you put it that way.
There it is.
I have a different take on it.
All right.
I think the people in your life, Brian, would like you to focus on the things you're good at. And so hopefully you can rely on those people to handle the other stuff.
I need an
Yeah, don't worry.
intern.
Let me park your car for you.
So, but this is
Not something
hold on.
you're good at.
But
No.
this is a bad sign. Let me just read you a text exchange, and this is the second time I've made this mistake in the last week. And this also kind of attributes to what I want to talk about in the next segment, which is my brain, depression, and happiness. Oh God, that sounded sad. I get a text today from my lovely friend Jen Smoot, who is she's gonna be a brewmaster. And she's got a graduation party for being a brewer. Like she's gonna be a beer brewer, and that's awesome to me. She wrote to me and my girlfriend, "Hey loves, Can I have your personal email addresses for grad party invites? ? You want to know what I replied to that email? That's a pretty straightforward text.
Very much so.
Was it cool?
No, I replied with not even like words. I just replied with my address in Atlanta. Because I didn't see the email part of that.
Yeah.
I just saw addresses. That's how little effort I put into it. I just like, oh yeah. And then and the best part is I don't have to type out my address. I just start with 3423 and boom, the rest of it comes in.
What is the rest of it?
Triview Square, if you guys want to send me some fan mail.
Yeah.
I actually wrote it
The back door downstairs is usually open.
At Lanetta. Then she wrote back, email address, dummy. We ain't sending no ravens to your house.
That's pretty good. Ravens can't read addresses, though.
So that's happening to me.
A hole in the
I feel
logic.
like my brain is slowly deteriorating, and I think it's sleep deprivation associated and possibly chemical imbalances. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Are you guys having any of these memory dysfunctions?
I mean, dude. I don't even remember what we're talking
you just
about.
You left your groceries at a bank
I didn't even get to it. I left Bosworth at the market. Like, I'm just out
You left your dog at a market?
I did.
What?
I got like halfway home and I was like, oh.
You left him tied to a post?
Yeah, he was just sitting there going like,
What is wrong with you?
I'm a monster.
How far did you get home?
Almost all the way.
Dude, all right, you know what? These remedies coming up next are what you need to pay attention, Pat, and you need to lay off the CBD, is what I think.
It's not happening.
Not laying off the CBD?
Hell no.
All right, it's the final segment.
Let's do it! You just gonna listen to Pat Crunch's chips?
You're listening to The Brian Moote Show with Brad Nolan.
It's about to get real happy in here as we talk about ways to fix memory loss and depression and things like that. My name is Brad. I almost forgot what my name was. My name is Brad.
I went to the vitamin shop today. I felt the last few weeks, I feel like I've been feeling way more fatigue and like a low-level depression. I think some of that's because, and this is weird to say, but some of it's because I've quit drinking during the week, and I only drink on the weekends. The problem is I have a tendency to like think to myself, yeah, I don't drink during the week, let's party. And then I'm becoming a little bit more of a binge drinker, and for just one night a week on Saturdays, and I get to Monday and I've got all sorts of neurotransmitter body chemistry issues, and I feel like a low-level depression and tired. And it wasn't until I started thinking about how much longer it takes me to get out of bed in the morning that I actually thought to myself, all right, you got to change something. Because it's gotten from, okay, Brian, you got to get up at 5, to 5:07, you're fine, to 5:16, you're good. Like this morning I got up at 5:22. And not up, I was awake. I got out of bed at 5:22. And to me, that's weird. I've never had that problem before. I've always been somebody who's been able to say, got to get up at 4:45, boom, get up, go take a shower, have a cup of coffee, just relax, chill. I just, for some reason, like facing the world some days feels like it's too much. And I was thinking that's got to be a chemical issue.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think it's I don't think I have clinical depression. I think it's just, for me, just being flat out tired. That's one.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I think that's a huge one.
But I've done morning radio now
too.
for 5 years, and I've never struggled this hard to get out of bed as I do the last 2 months.
You also weren't living half of your free time on the other side of the country, though. So you're like,
but I'm not going to use that as an excuse, though.
Yeah,
maybe
listen.
I live in an apartment again. I'm renting a room. There's no AC. Well, just finally got AC. That messes with my sleep patterns. Also, it's just like, it's not as much fun to go to my apartment and sweaty, no TV.
Yeah, here's the deal, man. I'll kind of tell you how I see it with you, and then we'll bring it back to the important part, which is me.
No one's ever said
Here's
that.
the thing, man. You've had a huge leap forward in your career recently. Mm-hmm. But that leap forward has come with some stuff, like you said. You're renting a bedroom in a
Some sacrifices.
Yeah, there's some sacrifices, right? Your girlfriend is back in Atlanta. You live in Los Angeles, pretty much alone. The only human interaction you have outside your job is your brother.
Right.
And
Or-
he's kind of a job.
Brian, hi.
Or I would say really brutal comedy shows.
Yeah.
Let's not forget those.
Yeah.
I love those.
And so I think that with the success that you can't see right now has come some sacrifices that, quite honestly, let's be quite honest, you don't have to be making, that you're choosing to make, but as you kind of pile those things in together, they do equal a low-grade depression. Back to me. I know what low-grade depression is because I've been diagnosed with it.
Right.
It's a battle, man. If I didn't have fibromyalgia and depression, I'd be the happiest dude you know. But when you couple those things, the laying in bed for, like, dude, it happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Every
awake.
day.
I'm awake. That's what's bothering me, is that I'm awake in my bed just going, nah, man, not yet. No, you still got like 90 seconds. Like this morning, it was like, I got 26
Still
seconds.
got 90 seconds.
And so I put it on Facebook, and one lady went after me because she's like, well, every weekend you post about how you black out drinking. And I was honest with her. I was like, she deleted her comment, I think, because a lot of people jumped on her. But I was like, yeah, that's not good. I'm working on that. But that's part of like the lifestyle that I want to live,
Right.
and that I am. I like to go out and have a good time. And yes, I am very aware of drinking. We've talked about that at length on the show, about trying to monitor that to not develop a real alcohol dependency, because that is something in my family that I don't want. I wanted more about diet and things that I have a counselor. I talk to her every once in a while about other things and stressors. I feel like this is internal. Like it's either nutrition or how I'm living or fatigue, which is making me feel depressed.
Right.
And sometimes I think fatigue and depression, if you're not used to knowing what depression is, now granted, there is a thing, clinical depression. And I am by no means saying that that's what I am working through. I am saying that when you're someone who has never felt like that and you're tired, it can feel like depression.
Very much so. Yeah.
And I think it can be a cycle where that fatigue, making you feel depressed, making you believe that you're depressed, leads to you being more tired. It's kind of a cycle. So I put it on Facebook, and minus the lady who called me a blackout booze bag, who then deleted her comment. No, I'm just kidding. And if she's listening, I do appreciate your comment. I can't remember your name because you deleted your comment. But I had a lot of people say the keto diet and the Whole30 diets really help with the internal part of energy, of giving you energy. I think the Whole30 for me is a little bit too disciplined for where I'm at right now.
What's that when you strip away everything and add things back in one at a time,
strip
right?
away
You
everything.
gotta figure out what the trigger foods are.
And I mean, I'd like to try, but I just feel like I struggle with those because of the hours we lead in radio, where it's like, oh man, I work all day long, and it's just really hard for me to know what doesn't have the things in. I mean, I have a Diet Mountain Dew right now. There's no way the Whole30 approves of this.
Oh, it's all over there.
Do you are there supplements on the list? I think you're going to end up becoming a supplement guy.
Yeah.
That's how I get through.
Yes,
life.
there are. We got a lot. We got a lot of vitamin B12.
Yeah.
We got a lot of CBD oils.
Hey yo!
And I know Patrick's been advocating CBD oils.
CBD every day.
Herbal adrenal supplement. Adrenal supplements.
Yeah,
Adrenal.
It's a little
little adrenaline, baby.
Here's the thing, though. CBD, right? It's the all the weed stuff without the highness,
Which
right?
is what I need
It's
because I
without the
can't.
THC.
I can't do high.
Yeah.
It makes me feel weird.
I will tell you this, as a person who has some things they should be depressed about. Sometimes I forget what bothers me because of the THC. So I'll just throw that out.
That's not what I'm looking for, because that's what alcohol ends up being for me.
Right.
It's like compartmentalizing, but you forget what compartment you put it in, so you can't even get it back anyways. It's just gone.
So I went, thank you to everybody who commented. Somebody commented, Corey Taylor, who's been on the show before. He was my trainer for my boxing match in Atlanta, and now he know him from Atlanta. And somebody was like, use Corey Taylor, man. He's great with like meditation. I'm like, Corey knocked me out in a boxing match.
You hit him first.
That is not going to help me. And then I started panicking today, going, man, what if I'm in my 30s. What if I'm starting to feel the repercussions of, man, I led with my helmet a lot in football in high school. Like, I remember being proud of how hard someone would hit me and hearing that bing, like that ring in my head. I've had a few concussions in football. I've had a few concussions skateboarding. What if like this is just CTE emerging in my life.
It honestly could be.
I don't know, and you don't know until you die, until you test your brain. I can't afford that.
Yes, so let's just not say it's that.
What I did today, I did yoga. I'm going to start doing yoga once or twice a week. It's a challenge for me because I'm not that flexible, I'm finding out. and it's hard, man. And then I also went and I bought some supplements. I bought this super de-stressing vitamin B complex. It's got B12. It's got 4,600% of B12 that you need on a daily
basis. Have you peed
basis.
since you took it?
Not yet. I took it right before the show. And
it's a fun experience.
I also took an amino acid that's supposed to help with cardiovascular and exercise. And then I bought something, which I'm going to try tomorrow, called Happy Pills. Happy Pills.
What nature store, what like natural remedy store did you go to get Happy Pills?
I don't know, but I put them on my Instagram.
It's got like an
stories right
emoji
now.
smiley face.
The Brian
It
Moote
does.
Show
I'm gonna be
with
happy.
Brad Nolan.
It does look super shady.
It doesn't look like, it doesn't, it looks like some weird hippie gave it to you, called out of a trash can.
4.5 stars on VitaminShop.com.
Geico presents Yikes, another voicemail from your roommate.
Sup, roomie? Hey, a pipe burst in the basement. It's completely flooded. Anyway, I called for someone to fix it, but in the meantime, I was thinking we could finally have that indoor pool party we've always wanted. I got some cool swan floaty things already going. Could you pick up some chips on your way home? Later.
The Geico Insurance Agency could help keep your personal property protected, like if your roommate isn't the brightest pool float in the flooded basement. Visit geico.com to see how easy it is to switch and save on renter's insurance.
Your home is important. That's why Geico helps make it easy to save on condo insurance. Because home is more than just a place. Home is where you took minimalism too far because there's only one chair in your entire condo and your only entertainment is one card. Not even a deck of cards, but a single card. And all your guests have to share one plate and one fork, but you're convinced that less stuff means more freedom. The Geico Insurance Agency could help protect the overly minimalist broom closet you call home. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on condo insurance.